the briefing session. After the briefing, the automated test begins. The entire track is divided into 2 zones in such a way that any point of time, only one vehicle is there in a given zone to avoid any conflict between the vehicles. Zone 1 contains following parameters: red line junction, forward maneuvering, maneuvering in roundabouts, driving as per allotted time. Zone 2 contains following parameters: parallel parking, reverse parking, lane changing skills. 2 additional parameters such as face verification and seat belt detection is being monitored throughout the test. For this automated test at the IDTR, the candidates have an option to use their own vehicle, or else IDTR can provide them with a vehicle. At the start of the test, a smartphone with the HAMS application is mounted on the windshield of the testing vehicle. A token number is then entered into the device which was allotted to the candidate at the time of the registration. All the details of the candidates, including photograph, are displayed on the screen. Once the candidate confirms his or her details, the test starts without any instructor inside the testing vehicle. Only the candidate is allowed inside the car during the test. As the test starts, the inside and outside recordings of the car are being captured by the smartphone. The inside recording is to monitor the driver's behavior inside the car, and at the same time outside recording is to evaluate his or her driving skills on the given track. As the test proceeds, the smartphone imagery along with inputs received from other sensors are used to evaluate various test parameters automatically, which includes mandatory and non-mandatory parameters defined by the RTO office. The results of mandatory parameters are given only in pass or fail, while the non-mandatory parameters carries 10 marks each. In Zone 1, first of all, candidates approach to traffic light junction where HAMS evaluates the candidate based on his response to a traffic signal. Full marks are awarded if the candidate stops his or her vehicle at the right position before the stop line, but the candidate is declared fail if the candidate jumps the traffic light, because a red light jump is a serious fault and comes under mandatory test parameters. Apart from the smartphone imagery, the track is covered with high-resolution overhead cameras. During the test, vehicle trajectory is also generated and recorded. In the vehicle trajectory, movement of vehicle in different directions is represented by different colors, like the forward movement is depicted in blue color, while the backward movement is shown with red color. These recordings from the overhead cameras and trajectory of the vehicle are for evidence purpose only. When we come to the end of Zone 1, it is marked with a sensor-based barrier. The barrier will open and the candidate is allowed to enter in Zone 2 only if there is no other vehicle in Zone 2. Now the candidate enters in Zone 2 and the candidate has to perform parallel parking, where HAMS precisely evaluates various parameters such as parking the vehicle clearly inside the marked box and the time taken to perform this task while obeying the right way of doing the parking. The number of attempts taken are also defined in the parameters by the RTO office. Now the candidate enters the next parameter, where his reverse parking skills are evaluated. Here, trajectory is generated for the reverse parking maneuver, where the different parameters of reverse parking are evaluated. Now the candidate enters into last maneuver, which is diversion zone, where HAMS evaluates whether the driver switches the lanes smoothly and also scans the mirrors of the vehicle accordingly during changing the lane. With this, the test ends. At the end of the track, there is an instructor who stops the test in the device, and the data is uploaded in the local server and shared with control room through the Wi-Fi. In the control room, HAMS evaluates all the data and generates the automated results without any human intervention. The result sheet is generated with all the relevant details such as marks of the candidates in each parameter, date and time of the test, photograph of the candidate, and the details of the vehicle used for the test. Result is generated within 10 to 15 minutes after completion of the test. The candidate submits the result to the RTO officials. Driving license of the successful candidates is sent by post to the candidate's residential address by the Transport Department. The IDTR Dehradun driver license test model has been widely acknowledged as a world-class example of technology and innovation by many reputed publications, both in India and across the world. ADT at IDTR Dehradun has been shortlisted among the top 12 projects in India for the prestigious Prime Minister's Award for Excellence and is also going to be featured in a book being published on selected projects of India by the Indian